Yeah, thank you, Julie. Very good evening and welcome everyone. I seriously thank you all for joining us today. My name is Mohit Sharma, currently chair of International Institute of Risk and Safety Management, IIRSM India Branch. I'm very pleased to welcome today's speaker, Mr. Durganand Thakur, Vice President, Health, Safety and Wellbeing at Vodafone Idea India. He is basically chartered electrical engineer and one of the renowned speaker in India. He is frequently seen at various forums, safety forums, speaking on various uh, recent topics in health and safety. So before handing over to him, I will just give you a quick glimpse on IIRSM India branch. So starting with LinkedIn followers, currently from last weeks we had a good hike in the LinkedIn followers, and 70 followers has been joined us on our LinkedIn page. So today's the ratio is 470 followers in the LinkedIn page. And just to give you a quick glimpse about the vacancies or opening, I would say the voluntary basis on IISM India branch. There are few openings, a few committed members we are looking for who can be a part of IISM India branch, either in terms of committee member or membership team or recruitment team or comms team. So you may have a look over the IISM website, and under the section of branch India branch, you may have a look and you may send the reply over the mentioned email ID over there. So with this, I would like to hand over to our today's speaker, Mr. Durganand Thakur. And thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. Over to you, sir.
Okay, so thank you, Mohit and Julie, for setting up this, and thank you, IIRSM, to give me the opportunity to speak to our great audience as always. As you said, we are. I am speaking in many forums, and where lot of things we speak about. But then IIRSM is always a very important forum where international body or national body and the very prestigious audience actually attend this program. So thank you very much. With this, I welcome all the participants. Very good evening in India and outside the world. Maybe good afternoon, good morning. So with this good morning and good evening, let me tell you today's our problem on the safety is not about the solving the problem. It's about the knowing the facts, knowing the problem, the bigger issues, and getting the organized this thing. Okay, and I must tell you, in this last two COVID years of COVID, this has taught us how to best utilize this online forums, and these webinars has become more and more successful, where we can talk almost on live basis to the audience. Of course, there are some limitations, some timings, some there are issues, but then we can overcome by dedicating the time for the noble cause of safety. With this today's session, I would just want to set up an agenda. Next 30-40 minutes, I would be like to take you through the session called, as the subject mentioned, this advancement in this work at height and rigging practices. So why we have chosen this topic this time, when IIRSM has approached and we have discussed regarding this. See, you go to many webinars, you talk to many people, there are a lot of training keep on happening. But as a safety professional, what we think, we need to upgrade ourselves. We need to know what is happening in the world. We need to know what is advancement is available. At times, we keep on reinventing the wheel. So rather in reinventing the wheel, if we can, spend time, quality time on implementing those things, that will serve better to a society. That is what we feel, and that's why this topic today, straight away we are talking about. It's not a training, work at height training. This is not about a specific thing, specification. This is straight away about what is going around you. So. No offense and no defense to anyone. This is not a training program. No, this is something knowledge sharing between us as a safety professional. Okay, so one going with this, one disclaimer I want to put. There were some videos in this We have an industry sponsors, which is some of the name you will find as a, the name of the company, which you need to ignore because this is nothing to do with sales marketing of the product. So that, but of course the name will appear, so you can anyways, though you are aware about the names of those things, but then it is just an reference point of view, right? So with this, friends, let us start this session. And the session to start with, as I said, advancement in work at height and rigging safety. So what do you understand through that advancement? Advancement means you may think something may have come digitized version, something may have come space technology, or something may have, the good automation things has come up. So, but safety has not reached up to that automation level so far that much. Okay, safety, though inherently everywhere till space, but then when we are day to day work in our industries, in our work life, our workers, they are still on ground, they still need to go through the right practice and right processes. So today we will talk more about a right practice, right tools, right processes on those advancement terms. Okay, so let's see how we go next 30-40 minutes, and then of course open to your questions. So with this, now I'm moving my slide. Not very long ago, what used to happen? The picture in top corner, what do you see? This is a 1932 picture. I will not take the name. These are the well-known place. Many of you must have seen this picture earlier. But what used to happen? There was no fall protection. You can see it in this picture. And the bottom picture, if you see the result, the outcome of that. Even today, if somebody goes in that, that is what it happened. So post that, what has happened? There is a development in, I'll go by one. So there are development in fall protection, the connecting element, anchorage, confined space, safe work at height practices. So I'm sorry, this is, so fall protection is nothing but an ABCDE, right? So when we talk about ABCDE, it's A for anchor, connecting element, body support harness, descent, and entry. That is what we will discuss actually principally today. What advancement has come in this kind of system. So when we talk about fall protection components, what happens? This is first thing is your body support, because the first thing is first foremost the worker who is actually working on this part, right? So he need to have that body support, right? So with this body support, what you need to do is you need to attach your body. Then you go on a connecting element. Now once you put up your body support, you need to connect those body support elements, which is harness, connectors, or lanyard. That of course we'll discuss further. And once you have that lanyard or connecting element, what do? You just anchor that. Okay, so the anchoring is a third thing, and then you need to work with that. So ascent or descent, you have a descender or descent. Okay, that is again a equipment or tool. And then you have certain egress or entry point of view, those processes. So when you go in a pit or confined space, what do? You have to have some entry process requirement. So these are the basic fall protection components, what we always talk about. Every one of you, I'm sure, aware of it. So how the harness has evolved, right? When we were talking about the body elements, so body elements, there is a evolution of harness, because harness is a very basic and first thing which has started, because people thought we need to connect. How to connect? That is your harness. So in this format, first and foremost thing which has come in, full body harness, right? Of course we are not talking about the rope binding, we are starting from a later stage part. So full body harness. In this full body harness, what do you see? It's a basic harness which is connecting your body parts, basic body parts, right? Then you go on work positioning harness. So work positioning means you have a backrest. If you can see here, there is a backrest attached to it. So work positioning harness. So next development has happened. Companies has made work positioning harness. Then you come on suspension harness. It means we technologically we know if somebody falls, he will have some kind of a trauma or some kind of jerk on his body. So if this harness is having a suspension harness, this becomes more and more safer. Okay. Then we move on to full body harness, which means you have a rescue element also. So when you talk about a full body harness, this is also inclusive of rescue. Until unless rescue things is not there, here you can see a little element which is a self rescue, and even there is a connecting element which again require a assisted rescue. So there is a rescue element involved in this evolution of the harness. Moving on with this, we have dielectric harness and flame resistant harness, which is fireproof, like welders and other things, because people are going to work, they are just not showcasing the harness. So whatever work they are doing, it has to be adaptability with that elements. Okay, like welding part, you see the flame resistant harness on dielectric harness for electrocution perspective. Then you move on with anti-static harness, which is electronic area component. Wherever there is a chance of anti-static charge, and slippage, there possibility of anti-static harness. And last but not the least, oil resistant harness. So if you see, the harness itself has become so many things. Full body harness, right? To there are 8 kind of variants has been developed. Of course, many industries, many people do not buy those things because reason is depending on your requirement, depending on your need, depending on your at times the budget, depending on your the understanding, and that's why we say at least we as a safety professional must understand what is this. Okay, so if we know these things are available, at least we can choose better, right? So that is what it happens once we talk about the evolution of the harness. Moving on the next element, which is a connecting element. So in connecting element, again there is a development or evolution has happened in that connecting element. Okay, so that what is kind of thing, we all know the lanyard. Lanyard word is very common name now, thanks to our whole industry moving ahead. Last 20 years back, lanyard are hardly been heard in the years, but now lanyard is a common word. Now when we talk lanyard, then there is a options. What kind of options? First is your single lanyard. Single lanyard is simple, connecting element one side, other side connecting element, connect to your body, connect to your anchor point, right? So that is how this becomes single lanyard, right? Then of course next step, twin lanyard. Twin lanyard, as name straight away says, one basic connecting element to the body and the 2 connecting element to your anchor point. So that all you need not to tell you, this is something 3-point contact making, right? So whenever you are taking out one connecting element, scaffolding hook, which is visible in this picture, so other is always connected. So by default you are always connected. The only difference between single lanyard and twin lanyard is you are always connected in twin lanyard, while in single lanyard possibility for those 10 seconds or 5 seconds you are not connected and chance of fall are much higher. Okay, so that's how we are evaluating this connecting element. Now moving on with this connecting elements of evolution, some expandable lanyard also came in. Expandable means sometime you need to stretch. So now you say how you maintain this stretch, because we all know there is a standard length of this lanyard in general, which is 1.8 meter. Now if you entangle that 1.8 meter, you may have difficulty of working. So what has happened, this lanyard has become expandable lanyard, so that while working normal condition it is smaller, and when you require it becomes stretched to that particular limits. Okay, so that is expandable lanyard is available. Now one more thing, further advancement on lanyards, what has happened, internal shock absorbing lanyard. So internal means we all know shock absorbent is something which will give the shock resistance while falling to the person body. Okay. So if your lanyard itself having a shock absorbing, it will protect the jerk on your body. Okay. And having two internal shock absorbing lanyard, this is going to be a fantastic thing on the body support. Okay. Then moving on, tie back lanyard again. So this is something you have something the element you can see the picture here, the working on electrical towers which require obstacles in coming in between. So you can tie back those things. Okay. So backside you just connect it somewhere and you work, and when you are free from work you come back and remove it. Okay. So that's how the lanyards are moving. And again, same like in safety harness, here also oil resistance, as if the harness coming, so be this lanyard will also be there. Okay. So these are kind of water repellent or oil repellent or dust repellent. So these are the varieties are available. So when somebody is working in a oil and grease environment, his lanyard or his harness will keep on getting dusty or dirty, and then it will be very difficult to inspect. So that is very important place where if it is a oil resistant or oil repellent or water repellent, what will happen, the inspection part become much easier on this kind of lanyard or harnesses. Okay. So there is a element. Okay. Now I'll show you one picture video here. There's no voice, you can only see the energy observation. What is the impact of energy observation? So if you see here, that is something, the impact on body. Why we were talking about safety harness or safety lanyard? If you see the left hand side, force versus time, it is 15.63, almost 16, and this side, right hand side, is 4.56. So what happened, as per the force and time energy observation, we should understand that this is something on body you cannot take more than 6 kg impact. Okay. And here we have registered 4.53. So with that shock absorption, what happens, this is something can able to take your body load. Okay. That is what the importance of that video. Now if you see here, the connecting element, the shock absorption, the other thing is, this is how shock absorber give a edge, and this is how it get help to the body, that at least till 6 meters if somebody falls down, he will be easily get arrested. So till 6 meters your harness is good enough to protect the person. Okay. That is what we want to explain here. Moving on. So some other connecting element which I will just play the video here. I'll just put up. So if you can see here, these are the horizontal lifeline overheads. Okay. So wherever you have this kind of regular work, people are working, always they should be connected. The whole essence of these videos and pictures are something, the connection, the connecting elements is critical always. So be careful while you are selecting the thing, and when you have that connecting element, this kind of scenario, you have a retractable fall arresters in place, which is pictures is showing here in right side picture. Okay. Moving on with this, rope grab fall arresters. Okay. This is a quite common name. I'm sure most of you are aware what is rope grab fall arrestor. But in rope grab fall arrestor also, there are multiple kind of rope grab fall arrestor. So rope grab, what happens, temporarily basis, whenever somebody has to work on the vertical heights, what he need to do, he need to put up those ropes and connect with the rope grab. Okay. So those rope grab fall arrestor are critical in that term. Okay. So how the rope grab element works, let's see through this small video here. So this is how a person connects and falls down and save himself. Right. So moving on with this. So few decades ago, Now we will talk about anchor points. Okay, so the third element, what we were talking about on advancement. So few decades ago, what happened? The only anchor we knew was this, right? It's everyone knows about this. This is the basic anchor, and now these are the anchor. So many anchor points has come in between. Can you imagine when in ancient times or rather 200 years back or 100 years back even, these are the only anchor been seen, and now we have so many anchor. Why? Because we are evaluating this whole industry. We are evaluating whole the process of safety, and we are trying to invent a lot of things so that in different condition we can connect ourselves. Earlier the only need of anchor was the ship come and it has to anchor, and that's why this kind of anchor has been made, because this has to be set up somewhere, right? But now we have very high rise buildings, we have very big edges, unprotected edges, where people need to connect themselves. So how you do? You always try to connect. So we'll see further how these anchor points are behaving or working and how we can utilize them. Okay, so when we talk about anchor points, some of the anchor points, which is mobile anchor. Mobile anchor is nothing but a portable one, where you have a mechanism, and those mechanism is something connected to some tripod or some element. Okay, so that is called mobile anchor. Now when we go by fixed anchor is something, suppose you have a work of 3-4 days, 5 days, or some bigger important work, you fix so those anchors in the support wall or support structure, and then you utilize them. And moving on to third thing is continuous anchor. Okay, so continuous anchor we will talk. So now in coming slides we will discuss these three major anchor, which is mobile anchor, fixed anchor, continuous anchor. Now if I wrap up, we have discussed about body harness, we have discussed about lanyards, and now finally this body harness and lanyard has to be connected with those anchors. So how that anchor point are, that is what something we are discussing. So you have a flow in the discussion. Okay, and you understand how the development is happening. So some of the mobile anchor is nothing but a portable kind of thing wherever you want. Suppose these are the slings. Now what do you do with these slings? You wrap them up somewhere wherever there is strength point, self-identified anchor points, and then you wrap them and you try to utilize them. These anchors are, but these anchors are, it's a normal, not a normal slings. These are the tested slings, which is EN795. Okay, so there is a standard available. Of course, whenever you buy, you should look for it. But then these are not a normal slings, okay, because this has a strength requirement. So this is how you do it. That is what I was explaining. There's another application, and third one. So when we talk about mobile anchor, the other option of mobile anchor, there are different some more anchors, which is swivel anchors, door anchors, trigger, concrete bolt, which is bottom you see the concrete bolt, parapet. So all options are available. Whatever problem we have that option. Only thing is we have to apply it at a right place. Okay, but things are more or less everything is available. That is what we are developing ourselves. Now this is how you actually put those swivel anchors in the wall for a temporary basis. I'll not go much by videos, small videos I am running so that you can just see the applications, right? So moving on, these are the something on parapet anchor. That is how you actually put the parapet anchor and utilize those. Okay. So some of the mobile anchor we discussed. I'll just keep this. Yeah. So you can see for all applications there are different kind of anchors available, right? So that is how you can utilize those anchor points. Okay, now I will just keep those videos. Now temporary horizontal lifelines, these are also one of the anchor points. Okay, so rope anchorage lines, temporary lines, and these are something, that is how you try to utilize those available anchor points. Okay, so whenever you do this mobile anchorage line, you connect them with to the right structures and support points, and then you utilize those anchors accordingly, right? So that is how things are developing. Now wherever people are working, these are all mobile things. Go by fixed line system here, because your job is not permanent, this is a temporary work, and that's how the workers are safe, right? So whole idea is how to keep our people and workers safe in different environment where we cannot fix the things permanently, but it is important to keep them connected. Okay, and that is what you can see in these pictures, right? So some of the, now we will talk one more anchor, and which is very important, where you have nothing. Okay, so nothing in the sense you can't have those mobile or fixed anchor points. So there, for those applications you have some dead weight anchors. Now this dead weight anchor is nothing but a counterweight application. So maybe if a person body weight is 80 to 100 kg most of the time, and we have these anchor points, which is it can take easily up to 100 kg load, or depending on the situation you can add those thing also, because if you see here, this counterweight can be increased or decreased. So if you put a 200 kg weight over the time, of course person will easily be able to work with his anchor points. Okay, so you can create those anchor points without disturbing anything of the structure. Those are things are also available and possible. Okay, so moving on with this, that is how this anchor points can be made. I'll just so you can see here how easy, because these are in parts. Now these parts development, it depends on what is your need, how much load you want to put. If this is a 25 kg one block, you can add, keep on adding, right? And then start doing it. So it's a kind of almost permanent portable things you have. Okay, now when we go further, we have to talk something about continuous anchors. Now what is continuous anchors? These are something vertical lifeline. Vertical lifeline, which most many time you need to climb multiple time, up down. There are scenario where telecom towers, where solar wind energies poles, or electrical towers, we need to have some kind of climbing, and day in day out. So in that all scenarios, if you put up a fixed line system, which will help you, that is nothing but again a anchor points, right? So let's move on some of the other continuous anchor application, and then some other application, telecom tower or the allural system. The other application of continuous anchor is nothing but an horizontal lifeline. So many of the industries, manufacturing or wherever we have a pitch roof, because factory shape, if you see, even in pictures, whenever you imagine a factory shape, it's always pitch roof, always inclined. What do you do there? So we have to have the cleaning and maintenance and other repair works always require access. Okay, so in that access condition, we have to have the anchor points to save our people, and that is how these continuous anchors help us. So that is the applications. You can see here how people are utilizing this, and this is also something. These base, what pictures you have seen, these are connected to your structure. Instead of dead weight, this is actually connected, so your structure become a dead weight here. So basically, principally, everything has a dead weight counterweight phenomena, where either you are connected to a building or a fixed structure or counterweight or this kind of applications. Everywhere the body should able to what we are trying to do in anchors. But what the development we are seeing day by day, the way our problems are coming, we are evaluating, and we are actually developing ourselves in terms of this anchorage point as well. So that is how we are moving on so far. Now these are the applications. I'll just run through this. Continuous anchors. Now something more we have to discuss on continuous anchors, which are how you utilize them. Okay, so on utilization front of continuous anchor, these are something of the component. So what kind of component? This is your descender. Okay, so how you utilize those descender? This is how you utilize those application, and that is falls under your continuous anchor category. So please watch for the video for an minute. That is how people need to anchor themselves and utilize. Now you can see here, this anchor point has been made, structure has been fixed, and person has to descend down, and that is how he is taking care of his safety. Okay, so this is the equipment called descender. That is what he is trying to exhibit here, right? He is creating the loop in the descender itself, so that he can descend himself, and that is how you can see he is descending easily without any support, anything, and he can do his own job at any level of the building, and finally he descend down while working, keep on coming down, and then he finishes job. So friends, these are the further developments happening, which is making easy work, efficiency increase, and then safety of person definitely. Okay, so there are something more continuous anchors, where people are utilizing those anchors. So something on, you can see the utilization. So these are the mechanical advantages, configure kind of anchor points, continuous anchor points, where he don't want to utilize multiple ropes, many layers of rope, so that he is utilizing this mechanical advantage easily without taking any extra care of himself in this way. Okay. So some more continuous anchor outdoor applications, where need not to tell, where these kind of hand zoomers or hand support system, where people do work on this simple. These are the places where people try to learn, and that is how these things are utilized. These are the some outdoor applications. You can see how easy the things become for the person to transfer, which unimaginable place, where you cannot even imagine that you will go down first on, particularly in case of rainy season or water filled places, with this place is shown dry right now, but then if it is water filled, you can't imagine that people will go down, and that is how it is helpful. Okay, now some continuous anchor, which is applications, where some kind of support system, where person has to use that while using this continuous anchors, right? That is how it has been shown. Now something we'll discuss quickly on confined space, right? So confined space is what? Something where people have only one entry and bigger space to work, and in that space it is very difficult to rescue the person. So how these anchor points are helping us, that is what you can see here, right? So he is entering with that anchor points, winch, right? So now you can see he has entered, and what is this scene all about? So somebody has to enter in the pit. He has entered, and now he is going down. Now there is some trouble, right? So what will happen? He faints or he got trapped. Now the other person immediately got an indication. He is going to rescue him. How the rescue is happening? You can see easily he is coming out with the winch machine. That is how the power of these machines and tools advancement. Earlier lot of people, our mines worker used to get trapped. Now with this help of this equipment, we have lot of help getting of people taking out safely out. Okay, so friends, these are something when I'm summing up this work at height part, then after this I'm going on material lifting portion. So these are the some of the structures where always your fall arrest system required, be it any kind of application. So one by one we'll see here. You see aluminum rails, fall arrest system, ladders, vertical lifelines, horizontal lifelines, HLL over rooftops, then other things, parapet anchors, your beam anchor trolley, other anchors. So that is how so far we have some. Before I go on material lifting, let me just quickly sum up for you. We have discussed actually very basic things here on the advancement of work at height, positioning yourself, how you yourself anchor, because ultimate problem is anchoring of the person is always required. He from the any unprotected edge or any height work, he always need to be connected, he always need to be protected himself. And how we do, we connect our body, we pull connected through lanyard, and that lanyard is actually through the anchor point. Now those anchor point, we have various kind of anchor point, which is mobile anchor point, fixed anchor point, temporary anchor point, continuous anchor point. So majorly three broad category, which is mobile, fixed and continuous. In that continuous we have various application, mobile we have various application, and fixed we have various application. So far this is what something we have in our system in India at least. Okay, now we'll move on the other section where material lifting. Now material lifting or rigging, what is this all about is, this is something you are thinking that person is going to work. Now the person is not only working, he is also carrying the load or equipment at times, okay, particularly on solar industry or particularly on your wind power or telecom, or they have to carry the particular loads. Now how they carry? Either they carry by hand or they pull it. So by pulling, is it possible to pull every load by a person easily? That is what we will discuss, what kind of advancement is helping us on material lifting processes. So in this material lifting, the very basic thing comes in these pulleys. The picture what you are seeing here, it is a lifting support system, nothing but a lifting support. It is not giving you something extra as the lifting support. That is what we'll discuss. Before we go on that, do you know the anatomy of human body injuries on material lifting, the requirements? So almost back injuries are the major thing which created by this material handling or lifting processes. So back injury account nearly 20% of all injuries illness in the workplace. and cost nation almost 20 to 50 billion dollars per year to the across the nations. Okay, so on stairway alone falls the result in two ways. So I need not to read out. These are the basic some of the research based data which is showing us and telling us there is a need of advancement. Why we put our people at risk? Okay, so that is what we want to understand, discuss. So when we are talking a lift, and I was telling that lift, how can you do? You can lift simply. You take your load up and go. But then, what is it possible? So that possible with some common sense. First of all, you have to understand, assess the situation. Suppose if I ask you, you have to take the 10 kg, let's say grocery example. We get all groceries. If in the buildings, if we stay and if there is no lift, what will happen? The grocery will come online, they will drop at the doorstep, but the staircase when you have come up without lift you cannot. So lifting becomes easy with lift, not with the staircase. So you have to assess the situation. Is the load big, bulky, heavy? It depends on that. Do you need help? Means if you are not able to do something, somebody else will help you or some equipment will help you. Remember, no single technique will work in circumstances. So my only caution is, this is no fixed formula. It's all customized always, most of the time. Like when we have seen the picture of pulley, if we can say, okay, I use the pulley to lift the grocery, not possible. Through the window, can you? You may not, because that grocery will hit some other window or obstacle. So it's all about dynamic thing, but there has to be a common sense in this whole process. Okay, so when we move on, you have to plan something, and that is what we are discussing. And as in safety professional, we all have learned this, the first thing, the tile, right? And very easy to hear. We were very happy that safety is so easy to remember, tile. But tile has a various dimension. This tile, I'm not explaining you, but the task, environment, individual, and load, it's dependent on that, right? That is what we are talking here. So when we move on, what is the advancement has come? So far, we all know how the lifting issue is coming up. So advancement means when we talk the lifting, how become easy, how it become easy. It become easy only when you use these equipments. These are the latest equipment. If you remember the conventional pulley, at least it will weight 5 to 10 kg. The material what you are, suppose 100 kg or 50 kg material you want to lift, 5-ton pulley or 3-ton pulley or those kind of pulleys we talk about always, right? Have you ever thought of this 200-gram or 500-gram pulleys? And these are the pulley what I am showing you. These are the 150 to 200, 300-gram pulleys, and this can easily lift up to 100 kg load. More than that also, when we use in tandem this multiple pulley or mechanical advantage, that's what we will discuss further. But then that is something with the advancement is helpful, right? So one by one we will just explain you here. So this is something we have just explained you earlier, the descender, again descender, and these are the equipments. Now one by one let us understand descender. What is descender? Descender is nothing which is helping people to use uplift and descend with a single rope, right? So this material is aluminum alloy, anodized, and ideal for descent or a single rope, on a single rope. Please mind you, it's a single rope. It is equipped with unique self-braking system with initiate brake as soon as handle release. So accidentally, if somebody release this, you can easily lock himself. Okay, so work on 10 to 12 diameter experimental rope. Okay, now equipped with polymer coated and so and so specification, and it also has to conform with 341 EN standard. Okay, now what is the applications? Suitable for window cleaning, painting, maintenance, ascending, descending features on the single rope helps. Okay, so that's something is important portion of this ascender and grip descenders. So friends, now we'll talk about some of the adjustable webbing foot. What is webbing foot? Is there are some feature and benefit, which is webbing foot is nothing but a 44 mm polyester webbing, which is having a connector, and you need to underfoot strap is abrasion resistance. So you put your foot inside and connect, and then you make your up down movement with that. That is what adjustable webbing foot. This is something your features of rope clamp or Zumar. These are names, but then this is actually helping your person to pull the rope, because many times you may slip those pulleys, rope, and then it may slip out of your hand. So this is what something is helping you, so which is by definition it is a clamp which is clamping together the rope and wire. Okay. So, and again it works on 10 to 12 mm rope. So you can understand, when I was talking about pulley, I took an example of 10 to 12 kg of pulley. Even in rope also similar situation. Your rope which comes with a 100-meter rope comes in a 10 kg. The similar 100-meter rope of Manila rope or your bigger jute rope will become much heavier. Okay. So that is how we are only talking about 10 to 12 fermental rope. Okay. So now the main hero of the scene in the material lifting, which is pulleys. Pulleys is what? It can be used, and these are very small size pulleys, right? So it's made of alloy, aluminum, and finish is silver, gold, yellow, whatever you want. But then these are the pulleys, which is very helpful. Okay. Some of the more pulleys, which is double pulleys, we call it actually double pulleys. So can be used as a rope, 12-meter, and other features. Now, double side double attachment pulley, these are the furthermore advancement where you want to take a mechanical advantage with higher braking strength. Okay. So double aluminum anchorage points pulleys covered, double pulleys allows you achieve mechanical advantage, right? So moving on with this, some of the rigging plate pause, which is a part of equipment. So it's a multiple anchor point. If you want to make a multiple anchor point with one anchor point with a good braking strength, these are the support system available with you. And these are the rope anchors, okay, rope termination, where one point you want to put your rope. And so material lifting standards equipments actually utilize this kind of termination anchor. Okay. This is something, the comfy cruise, which we have seen in the earlier video, where mechanical advantage becomes a very easy for you. So works on principle of winding contact friction and allow user to raise and lower himself. So he can ascend and descend himself, both thing in the same option, right? And factory fitted howling, you can also go by factory fitted terminal rope. So you can see earlier when you used to try ascend or descend very with effort. Now these are the effortless techniques we have available with us, right? Some of the application of power winch, which is either petrol version or electric version, where in green fields where we have nothing and we have to lift the material. So your power winch. So see the video quickly, how we utilize this power winches. I'll just run through little quick. You can see this. Sorry. Sorry for inconvenience. So you can see how easily one person is actually lifting a big heavy load, and very difficult load, I will say, because volumetrically it has a different issues altogether, right? So these are the various other applications where multiple. So I'll just skip to, in the interest of time. I'm not. You can go through this. This will be live on YouTube, anyways. So I'm skipping this video for now, because we have to talk something more about material lifting. So now, why we are talking about knots? Now you can say it's a simply rope. What is the advancement? The advancement is how you keep your knot easily making, and this knot actually decide whether how easily you can lift the load or descend the load, right? So these are the some of the knots, the name, nomenclature, alpine, butterfly, or black hitch, or blue line, whatever name we mention here, you can utilize. Now what is the use? Why I am showing this picture? Because if you see, this reduction in strength of rope due to the knot. If your rope knot is not correct, there's a typical strength losses happen. What kind of? If your scaffold knot is not right, it becomes 23 to 23% loose. Okay, loss of the strength. So it is important to utilize those rope knots. The equipment utilization rightly is also important and critical. Okay, so that is to just explain you here. Some of the mechanical advantage you can see here, self-explanatory, simple pulley system where you have 3:1 ratio, and where you have a 9:1 ratio. You can see the compound pulley system, how much weight it can lift with this calculation. Okay, so it's almost 100 times higher than normal system, right? With a very small place and help of the equipment. That is what the advancement we are talking about, that how you can take advantage of machines to save the human, right? We talk about robots, but then every place is not robotic, every place is not automated the way in the greenfield places where we are talking about. Everywhere robots are not possible, maybe at least next 10 years, 20 years. By that time we have to utilize all these things, we have to utilize the resources of right resources in that sense. Okay, so that's why I thought to express with you. Now, any thoughts? Maybe chat box is open. I am through with this presentation. I really enjoyed explaining. So thank you very much. And Julie and Mohit, over to you for any questions if we have.
Thank you. That was a really interesting presentation. We do have some questions. What would be the application of a single lanyard?
Okay. So single lanyard is, as I was talking about the continuous anchor, if you remember that continuous anchor. So continuous anchor is always on a single lanyard. Okay. So normally whenever you have a fixed application like a travel restraint device, you are always on single anchor, because there your application is not 3-point contact, your application is connecting to a certain anchor point work, right? So that is how it works.
Thank you. If there is any anchor testing to be carried out, like pull-out tests to ensure the integrity of the location. Sorry, I'll read that again. Is there any anchor testing to be carried out, like pull-out tests to ensure the integrity of the location? Okay, interesting question. And Julie, I must say, whoever has asked this question, he has thoroughly worked, and he really is working hard to find it the right application. And thank you so much for asking this question. See, this is a a dilemma. Not dilemma for the safety manager, because you have some doubt of that anchor point, that whether this is sufficient, strength is sufficient or not, right? And then if you are going to test that, the anchor point may fail, may not fail. So the whole idea is, first application is the self-identified anchor points, which is a definition or principle comes in place. Self-identification is something you have to have, see as per EN 795, whether these metal, if it is a metal thing, it's not rusted, it's not connected. Suppose it is a structure, let's say a building column. Now that building column is made with a certain design, okay, certain approvals, maybe Indian standard or AN standard, but it is made with that certain standards. So if you feel that building is as per the structure stability, fine. If you have a doubt, then first thing is you have to check the designs of that structure instead of testing that anchor point. That is what the suggestion always comes in, and that's where people start taking a backseat. Oh, I think it will take much time. But then ideal way is that only you have to go step by step. If you are sure this is the right building, right structure, right metal. I will take one more example where hoardings. Okay, in the markets you see a lot of hoardings in the busy markets. Now if somebody has to do the fixing of that flex or some harness, what he will do, how he will identify that anchor point? So only simple process is you have to go by the visible structure processes, where that visibility should be clear enough. And still if you have a doubt, if it is rusty, then go by design checks. Okay, so that is what my answer. I hope I could answer at least some part of this thought.
Thank you. We'll just answer one or two more depending on the length of the answer. What is the application of a tieback lanyard?
Okay, so tieback lanyard, when we were talking about, it's a suppose you have a electrical transmission tower where you have to, let's say, clean your bushings. In that bushings in front you don't have anything to look forward, means in front you have nothing, it's all backside. Now backside you don't know how the lanyard will entangle or not entangle. At that point of time you have to clip on that lanyard, because lanyard has a length 1.8 meter, or if it is a suspension one, self suspension one, that may be little lesser, but still it has a length. So to avoid that entanglement, as I was telling you, in the application of like electrical transmission and other places, you can utilize that.
Okay, thank you. I think we'll stop there because we're nearly at time. Mohit, shall I hand over to you to do the closing comments?
Yeah, that's fine, Yuri. Like, if any
Shall I remove the
questions are
presentation by
there,
that time?
yeah, you may do it. No issues in that.
Thank you.
Julie, we have covered all the questions, I hope. Like, right? No, nothing is pending as of now.
There are a couple of questions, but if you want me to ask the rest of them, I can.
Yeah, one or two we can take, like, if you permit. Like, one question is still 1-2 minutes we have, then we can wind up. Last one question we can take up.
No problem. No problem.
Okay, so why workers at transmission towers, say 50-meter high, they are supposed to use grab rope fall arrest system? Can you throw some light on this?
Yes. So you are. What I understood is electrical transmission tower. If I have understood correctly the question.
Yes.
So if it is the case of electrical transmission tower, so ideally while climbing, the first person has to go up safely with a anchoring and go up and fix up the mobile what you say, anchor point, sorry, the what do you say, Mohit, the rope grab. Sorry, I'm real sorry. So rope and rope grab, and then he the other people can utilizing that, and this become a temporarily anchor points and up going up points for those project duration, and then later it can be removed. Okay, so it has to be used.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Then yeah.
Oh,
yes, Julie.
Did you want me to just ask one more?
Sure.
Is descendant an anchor, and is descending device, and is it descending device, and it shall be fixed with anchor? So I don't understand that question. So maybe let me move to another one. This is probably not a quick one, but perhaps you could. What would be the significant hazards related to working at height?
Okay, so that is, I think, a very obvious question. There are hazards where, first of all, of course, falling from height is a major thing, which is obvious. But then working at height has a different corollary hazards also, right? And that's why, suppose, let's consider one case, and it's an interesting question. When it looks to be a very simple question, but it's interesting, and I think we should spend 1-2 minutes more time on this. See, suppose you are on a protected edge on a telecom tower, example, and now you are without harness because you are protected. You are not using harness. Suddenly, there is a bee attack. There is a beehive coming, and there is a bee attack. What will happen? You will try to save yourself. You will try to quickly come down. Your anchor point or your harness anchoring will only save you for falling in a hurry. And this has happened. It's a reality. There are cases happened when people, in panic, they actually fall down, right? So they actually die from falling from high instead of beehives, bee problem. There is another example where on heights, the creatures which other than bee, there is a eagle nest, there's a monkey menace, there are certain things happen. So always, if you are connected on heights, it is always helpful. That is what I can say. Mohit, if you want to add on this.
No, definitely, sir. You are like rightly pitched on. Yeah. So that's it. Yes, Julie. Yeah. If any other question we have left out with.
Just one question, will we share the presentation? After the webinar, you will be sent a link with where the presentation is. I need to check whether we can upload to YouTube because there's videos in it, and sometimes with videos it doesn't let you. But everybody who has attended today or isn't able to attend, they'll be sent a link to the GoToWebinar to view the recording.
Yes, that will be better.
And I've
So
also
YouTube
had a couple
have some kind of copyrights because we
Yeah.
have seen some of the companies' names.
That's right. And we've had 2 or 3 comments of what a great presentation is, how clearly explained, and to say thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
That's great.
Thank you, Mohit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Julie, for taking the questions out, and definitely, like it was, yeah, wonderful insights about the lifting techniques and what are the new developments in the world of working at heights. Yeah, like many safety professionals didn't know like what are the right equipment we can use at while working at height, either in tower or in the roof seat, industrial roof seat, or in any other different activities. So yes, this presentation was wonderful, and we have pitched on very different areas, either from working at height, ABC anchor, body harness, fall protections, or if we talk about the different types of knotting systems, material lifting techniques. So definitely it was very wonderful, and I enjoyed it, and I hope our members also they have gone through these presentations and they have liked it very much. So that's also this was thank you for attending, sharing your time to India branch, and we look forward ahead in future for your participations and more presentations in such areas. And
Thank you.
if you have any thoughts, if you want to share anything, you can share like before winding up. Yeah.
Okay. So, if you are allowing me the ending comment or concluding remark of myself, as usually people do it in the webinars or seminars. So, my only humble request to each participant or the audience or the people of in the world of safety, please focus on anchoring system always. The right anchoring is always a key to the success of the saving of the people's life. That is what my mission is to talk about on work at height safety. Whenever I talk, I always talk about anchoring. Other thing is and always be the fancy things, but then anchoring, right anchoring is the critical and key to the safety of the people on height. Okay, that is what I want to conclude with my remarks. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yes, Julie, like we can wind up. Thank you again for all the participants to join us. Thank you. Bye.